What's up guys, it's James here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about how to find incredible contractors for your renovation of your real estate deal. And I'm going to talk about doing that for short-term rental properties. That's what I've been investing in recently, is buying short-term rental properties. And they're absolutely incredible assets to own for the incredible cash flow that they produce. So if you want to learn more about investing in short-term rental properties, then there's a link in the description down below to a new free training that we've recently put together where I break down all the different steps that we took to be able to successfully invest in short-term rentals. And we give you an idea of the three critical components to investing in short-term rental properties. Now, at the end of that video, you do have the opportunity as well to schedule a free consultation call, a free strategy session with myself or my business partner, Riley, where we can help you dissect and dig into, how to actually get started for you. What makes the most sense as a path and a plan of action for you getting started investing in short-term rental properties. So if you want to access that, if you want to check out that free training, then just click it down in the link down below in the description. I highly recommend it. It's going to be incredibly valuable to you. We've already had great feedback on this training so far, so I highly recommend that you check it out because we aren't going to be keeping it around forever. We are going to be taking it down pretty soon here, so I do highly recommend that you check it out in the link in the description down below before it's too late. Now, that being said, let's talk about finding great contractors for your renovation. Now, this is pretty counterintuitive. The strategies that we use to find really great A1 top player contractors, and then we used to find our current maintenance person who is doing all the renovation work and kind of overseeing everything on our Airbnb properties. It's very counterintuitive. It is not what you'd expect. What I see a lot of people doing is actually the exact opposite of what we've found to be the most successful for finding good contractors. Before talking about that strategy though, and I'm going to walk you through it and walk you through exactly how you can use this strategy, I want to first start out by defining what makes a good contractor, because I think it's really important to start there so that we're on the same page about what makes a contractor really good. And number one that's pretty obvious is good quality of work. If they do crappy work, they're not a great contractor. I think we can all agree on that. So it's important that we find someone that, number one, first and foremost, does great high quality work. Now, number two is, in my opinion, I think it needs to have affordable prices. I don't know a lot of people out there that are going and trying to find the most expensive contractor unless they're looking for the person that does the best work, and they make the mistake of thinking that the best contractor that does the best work is going to be the most expensive one. So they're okay going with the most expensive one. I've actually seen people that prioritize going with the most expensive contractor because they make the kind of bias, the cognitive bias of thinking that the most expensive is equal to the best quality, which is not always true and is often the opposite of true. So that's the other thing that I look for, is affordable prices. Now, I'm not saying they have to be the cheapest, but it needs to be affordable. Now, the third thing that I look for, I find to be a good contractor, is someone that is reliable. I need to be working with someone that has integrity, that does what they say, that's reliable, because ultimately a lack of reliability is going to cost me in more ways than one. It means it's going to take longer for that project to get done, which is going to incur more costs for me. And it means that long term, if I need them doing, maintenance work, things like that, it means that my guests in my Airbnb, my short-term rental property, are going to be left waiting around. So I need someone reliable. The other big thing for me with reliability is that it just takes a lot of the pressure and stress off of my shoulders if I know this person is going to do what they say. Because that means that once I give them a project or a task to work on, I don't have to worry about it anymore. Whereas with someone that's less reliable, I do still need to stress about that and wonder and worry if it's actually going to get done or not. So those are my three main criteria for judging a good contractor. Again, let me know in the comments if you have different criteria that you use or if you disagree with any of this, but those are personally my three. If a contractor is good, they've got to do good quality work for reliable, for reasonable prices, and be very reliable to work with. Now, with that criteria out of the way, let's look at how I go about finding these people. Now, what most people will do when they look for contractors is they'll go onto Google, for example. They'll go onto a popular search engine and they'll just go and look for example, plumbers or contractors or whatnot in their area. And they'll look at the top search results and they'll start clicking on those, and they'll go and find the people that have the highest ratings on Google, the most reviews, that have the best SEO basically built up for their site. And so they're the top of the search results. Now, there's a few different problems with doing that. I'm not saying that's always the wrong thing to do. I'm just saying that it's not often the best thing to do. Because if you're looking for a really good, reliable cleaning team, or plumber, or any other contractor or maintenance worker, whatever it might be, if they're doing full-on renovations, if they're a tile worker, they're flooring guy, whatever, a lot of the people that are really, really, really good at their trade are not really, really good at SEO. They're not really good at online stuff. They don't have a great online presence. So there's this thing that happens where you can find people. It's not to say that the people that are good at SEO are not good at their trade, but it is to say that the people that are good at their trade often aren't good at SEO. There's not a lot of correlation between the skill sets of being a good plumber and being an SEO wizard. So right off the bat, you're not going to be able to find the people that do really good quality work, but that don't happen to have skills with SEO if you exclusively look through search engines and look at those top search results. Now, oftentimes the top of the search results are paid ads. And so there's very few contractors that are running paid Google ads and know and have the technical skill set to be able to do that. And the other thing to remember is that a lot of the people that are really good are fully booked through word of mouth. A lot of people that have incredible skill set, they're just constantly bombarded with word of mouth. They get tons of referrals, they get tons of repeat business, so they don't have a reason to run paid advertising. Oftentimes the companies that need to run paid advertising are the ones that either don't do good enough quality work to constantly get repeat work, or that they just are very, very large businesses. In fact, I've worked with and been on the management side of a very large contracting business, a very large painting business, and they did great quality work. And they were a really, really big company. So that's why they would run paid ads, because they just had so much capacity to fill huge volumes of work. So paid ads made sense. But if you think about the kind of mom and pop operation, the one-man show, they just don't have the kind of capacity that those bigger guys do. And so if you're not necessarily needing to work with a really large company, then those smaller guys aren't going to show up oftentimes in your Google search results. Now, the other thing to remember is that if we're looking for affordable prices, we want to look for businesses that have relatively small overhead, because your hourly wages are going to stay relatively the same. And I'd rather shy away from trying to discount the hourly rate that I'm paying, because I want to be paying someone more as an hourly rate, giving them more of a reward for the work they're doing. So the main variation, material cost, is also going to be pretty much the same for everyone. The main variation is what kind of overhead that business has. Now, if a business is running paid ads, if they have an in-house SEO person, or if they're contracting out SEO work, that means that they have higher overhead, which means that they need to charge their customers higher prices for the work that they're doing. So if I'm looking for affordable prices, I want the most reasonable rate, and I want the money that I'm paying to be going to that person to make sure that they're adequately paid for their work and not covering a bunch of business overhead expenses, administrative expenses, then I actually want to look for people that have a lot less overhead, which would be the one-man shows that are going and doing everything off of word of mouth and don't have overhead like advertising expenses, other team members, things like that. Now, from there, it's just a matter of finding someone that's reliable. So again, if I want to go and find someone that maybe doesn't have a website and they don't have a huge online presence, then it goes, where do I go? Where do I want to look for that person? Now, what I recommend to start out with is going on different classified sites. Like in Canada, there's Kijiji, virtually all over the world, there's Craigslist, there's all kinds of, I know in the UK, there's something like Gumtree, there's all kinds of different classified sites that you can look at depending on where you're located, and that can often be a really good place to go, because oftentimes in those sites, it's free to just post yourself. So a lot of times contractors will go and post themselves there. Facebook Marketplace is turning into another place that can be really good to look, and then just talk to the contractors. Now, you're going to want to go and meet up with them to then just verify that, okay, they actually do have high quality work. You're not going to be able to rely on a whole bunch of reviews and all this SEO and all this stuff they built up. So you really do have to do a little bit more work actually vetting them. Make sure their prices are reasonable, and then make sure that they're actually going to be reliable and good to work with. Now, that just means that you need to have a better screening process in place. And again, if you want to learn more about all the details of how we do that, how we make sure we find the best ones out of the people that we contact, then just again, click the link in the description down below, where we're going to walk through more of the details on investing in short-term rental properties. We'll talk about all that. So again, that's where it kind of gets to, is now we've got some different contractors that we're meeting with. Is one method is just through classified sites. Another one that's really great is networking. And this can be going to those contractors that you have come by and asking them, hey, do you know anyone else that does this trade or that does that trade or the other thing? That's actually how we got the best person that we've got on our team right now that we constantly work with, is we got them just through a word of mouth. We found one good contractor and then they refer us to this other good contractor. They worked really, really well together. And hey, that ended up being a really great long-term relationship that we have. Another thing can be asking the neighbors of the property, asking people in the neighborhood, in the area for referrals. Because if someone's willing to give their word to say, hey, this person does great work, they're reliable, they're good to work with, then good chances are they're actually going to do a really good job, especially if it's someone that's nearby, a neighbor or something like that. They're not going to want to give you a good recommendation or a bad recommendation, sorry. So they're going to want to make sure they impress you, and that if they're giving someone a recommendation, that person is actually A1. Now, the other thing I highly recommend is that once you find one good contractor, they tend to know other really good contractors. So if you find one, for example, one good plumber, ask that plumber, hey, who do you recommend for flooring? Because I know that if you're a fantastic plumber, if you're, you do good quality work, you're reliable and you have fair prices, you're going to recommend me someone for flooring that meets those criteria as well. You're not going to recommend some person that does crap quality work or is going to try to gouge me on pricing or just going to leave me hanging high and dry, because that's going to reflect poorly on you and your business. So I know I'm going to get a really good referral off of you. Now, there's a few different methods that we talk about inside the free training here and inside the coaching call that you can set up for free with Riley or I if you're interested, about how to actually go about finding these people and how to make sure the renovation goes smoothly, manage the whole project, absolutely everything, and get that short-term rental property up and running. So if you are interested in investing in short-term rental properties, you want to be able to buy these properties and manage them and have them producing absolutely incredible returns on investment, then I highly recommend you check out the free training linked in the description down below. I recommend checking that out there, registering for it before it's too late, because we are going to take it offline at a certain point. So make sure you check it out before it's too late. And the last thing I'll say to you is that if you did get value from this video, if you thought it was insightful, you thought it was helpful, then give me a quick thumbs up, hit that like button. And also, if you're new to the channel here, or if you are watching these videos and you're just not subscribed yet, then make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with the channel. Again, take a second, hit the like button. It really does help me out a lot with the channel. Make sure you register for the free training and hit that subscribe button as well, because subscribing to the channel will keep you up to date with the 2 new videos we post every single week on this channel. So all that being said, I hope you got value from this. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.